Hi, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Oluwatobi Ogunfusika. If you're listening to this podcast, this is Toby Fusika as well, and this podcast is just one in a series that is coming soon. I'm recording this for the Brides to Be Conference 2020, and it's an honor and a privilege to be invited to speak and to just speak into the life of all these young ladies. So today we'll be talking about intentionally waiting, and it's just a delight that I've been given this honor and privilege to speak on this topic, and I see it as one that is very important, especially in this season where most ladies are kind of marriage crazy. After school, getting a job, it's almost like the next thing on our to-do list, and without adequate planning and preparation, we've seen so many people rush towards marriage, which in itself is not a bad thing. But then what do you do between when you're single and when you are about to be married? And this doesn't mean that if you're listening to this, you should be married. I myself am not married. I'm as single can get, by the way. But then intentionally waiting, what should you be doing? Ephesians 5:17 says, don't act thoughtlessly, but understanding what the Lord wants you to do. Meaning that at every stage and season of our lives, there's a level of intentionality and purposefulness that God expects from each and every one of us. And we should not take any season or stage of our lives for granted. We should not take any season and stage of our life just living flimsily, if I could use that word, without so much thought as to what we should do. Psalm 90 verse 12 says, teach us to number our days that may apply our hearts unto wisdom. So I would share my own experience. I think it was in 2013 that a very great man died, Miles Monroe, and I was never a fan of him before then, because I lived in I was in school then, and my school was a very spiritually driven environment, and so many people were fans of him, and I'm just this person that doesn't go for what's popular. So when everybody ran towards him, I ran away from him. I'm just very funny like that. So when he died, I just felt a nudge to start following him and looking up into his life, and I listened to some of his messages that I could lay my hands on. The first was Myth of Singleness, and I can't remember what the second one was about, but then he talked about how a man's life is divided into quarters. So the first 25, the next 25, the last 25, and if we're privileged, one more 25, making like 100 years. And so the first 25, he called this the preparation stage. The next 25 years, he called it manifestation. And the last 25, he called it rest. And if God permits, the last 25, where we just get to retire and live long. And from then, I wrote down a list of things I wanted to do before I was 25. And by the way, I turned 25 last week, so this is I would say this is timely. And I wrote down a list of things I wanted to do, not things that were maybe like a bucket list-ish, things I knew that I wanted to accomplish, things I knew that I wanted to be known for at this particular age. Now, I would put a caveat here and say that our generation now is achievement hungry, so don't be pressured into achieving. Be led by the Spirit. For example, one of the things I wanted to do was finish reading the Bible by 25. And when I mean reading, I don't mean skimming through with notes in my journal. And I actually have one book left, which is the book of Revelations. But at the point when it was getting to my 25th, I did not pressure myself. Now, why did I give myself that goal? Because I wanted to be intentional about my devotion and my study time. I knew that every other facet of my life depended on the time I spent in devotion with God, time I spent talking to God. So having that goal made me intentional about my Bible study time. Of course, I had times where for weeks, days, months, I wouldn't do my devotion. I was caught up in life. But once in a while, I learned to pause and to step back and to return. So first thing I would advise you do when you intentionally wait, discover purpose. Now, this chase for purpose doesn't mean that you would just chase God and then one day he will sit down and tell you, oh, this is what I want you to do. No. Begin to build on your strengths, explore them, and then begin to grow your weaknesses, things you know you can improve upon. Begin to try your hand on so many things and intentionally try to see that which you are tending towards. What seems to come naturally for you? What seems to make you happy? What do people tell you? Oh, I like when you do this. This seems like a good fit for you, or I see you doing this. What do you even sense in your spirit that you want to do? Because aside what people say, what do you feel like you have to? This is why your relationship with God should be the first thing. I feel like for everyone that is intentionally waiting, your relationship with God is paramount. It has to be grown. Not church service, not mentors, not mentee, not events, not worship meetings, not conferences, not programs, but you sitting down with God and staying in that place where you cultivate a relationship with Him. It is so important. The next thing I would say is selflessly serve. Now, in discovering purpose, you may get to some roadblocks. Sometimes you may be confused. Sometimes you may not know what steps you want to take. Selflessly serve. Why would I emphasize on selflessly serving? Sometimes serving opens up portals into things that you never saw coming. So I remember when I was in uni, it wasn't a time to seek to be in a very high position. I knew that I was still young with a lot to learn, so I served. In my choir, I served people, I served under leaders, even leaders that were my age mates, I served under them. Whatever your hand finds to do, serve. Look for opportunities to serve freely, volunteer, try to learn a new skill, try to work under somebody, try to learn how to be a leader and also how to be a follower. Because these dynamics are needed, especially when you get into marriage. If you're always used to being the one at the top, what happens when you have to serve as a bride to a husband or as a husband to his wife? Because it goes vice versa. The next I would say is build great friendships. I know we are in this struggle and in this hustle for finding the one. You meet a guy and the next thing you're wondering, is he the one? This is this. You're already even matching up your surnames to ensure that they fit perfectly and all of that good stuff. But yeah, build great friendships. Learn how to be a good friend first. Once or twice I've made this mistake as well. Learn how to build great friendships. I felt like, or I thought that the dynamics of a relationship were different from a friendship. I kid you not, no, they're not different. If you know how to be a true and dependable friend, going through seasons that are up, down, high, low, going through different phases and seasons, then you'd also know how to be a great friend also in marriage. We've heard it a million times, marry your best friend. How do you know who your best friend is if you don't learn how to build friendships? So build great friendships. Be fine with being friends. Be comfortable with being friends. Enjoy friendships. Enjoy doing things selflessly without any attachments. Enjoy giving and receiving and having fights and coming back to apologize. Learn how to be a true friend. A friend that sticks closer than a brother. Learn, practice, cultivate it. Second thing I would say is prepare ahead. There are many parts of our lives that we're not perfect in, be in your finances, your academics, your search for a job, cooking skills, learning to be more organized, learning how to budget well, learning how to save more, learning how to plan, learning how to work with people, learning how to tolerate. Prepare ahead. Sit down and take track of your life. I would advise you have a journal. I personally have a relationship journal where I write down different things. Learning how to forgive. Write down a list of things you know you need to build and work on and improve on till you get married, till that day comes. Just prepare ahead. Do not be caught unawares. We are all work in progress, yes, but then there's also a lot of planning to do. The next thing I would say is make bold moves. What do I mean by bold moves? Some of us put our lives on hold thinking that, I won't do this and this and this till I'm married, or I can't do this and this and this. My dear, whatever it is you want to do, go for it. Don't let anything hold you back. Don't let anything make you feel like, I'll do this later. I can't do this now. If you have it in you, if you can afford it, if you have the means around you, chase everything. 2020 has been a down year for everyone, but I can tell you boldly that everything I wanted to do in 2020, I did, despite the limitations. Though not perfectly, though some things had their own hitches, but I chased everything I wanted to do fearlessly. Like, I went for them. It wasn't easy, and it would never be easy, but make your bold moves. Don't hold yourself back and say, I can't do this. Gather a group of friends that you trust. Find people who would help you. Have someone hold you accountable, but make bold moves. Be unafraid. And then my last and final point is something I heard Stephen Furtick's wife, Holly Furtick, say in a message I listened to like so many years ago. He says, while I wait, I will get to work. Now, what does this mean? She talked about one time she was traveling from one country to another, and then the flight was supposed to be so long. So what did she do before her flight? She made a to-do list of everything that she wanted to achieve. And guess what? Even though she hated long trips, by the time she sat in that plane and did everything that was on her to-do list, she raised her head up and realized that, wow, she had gotten to her destination. Why? She had a plan. While you wait, while you're intentionally waiting, get to work. Have a list of things that you want to do and achieve, and go ahead to achieve them. Run towards them. Don't stay stagnant and idle. Don't count the days till you're married or till you meet the one, or compare yourself with your friend, or complain about you at this age, you're not married yet, or hate God because God has not led you to the one yet. No. While you wait, sis, get to work. Be intentional about your time. Do not waste it. And seek friends. Have friends around you that do not pressure you or pepper you, as we say, to be married, but people that genuinely want your growth. As they always say, a broken engagement is better than a broken marriage. So even if you have to leave that relationship to work more on yourself, to prepare yourself, to make yourself stronger to handle certain things, please do it. We want you to be a Proverbs 31 wife. Most importantly, we want you to be like Christ when you get married. So if there are number and a list of things you have to work on, please work on them. While you wait, please get to work and be intentional about this waiting period. I love you so much, and I am Oluwatobi Ogunfusika. You can reach me on my social media channels at Toby Fusika, or you can send me a message through one of the conveners of this conference. Thank you so much. Have a great day ahead.